Pixelmania has released NNRetime, an AI-powered retiming plugin for Nuke. Instead of relying on traditional optical flow, it uses machine learning model to generate entirely new in-between frames. Now, if you ever tried optical flow inside Nuke, you already know the pain. Objects tear apart, edges are warping, and hair becomes spaghetti. And fast motion usually falls apart. According to Pixelmania, NNRetime produce cleaner result while also support HDR values, custom AOVs, OS can even 8K workflows using tiled processing. They even posted a video in LinkedIn compared to traditional Nuke Chronos plugin and also Rife comparison videos. Most AI tools today are built for social media creators working in SDR video. This one clearly aimed at film pipelines. I personally like the plugin not because AI is replacing artists, because retiming has always been one of the most boring technical tasks that nobody enjoys fixing frame by frame. If AI can remove that pain while keeping artists in control, that's exactly where AI belongs. The only question now is how well does it actually hold up on difficult production shots? Because marketing videos are always looks great. It was slow motion, no obstruction, even lighting. Real client footage is where these tools become part of production ready or disappear within 6 months. There is a new AI plugin called ONYX OFX plugin released. It was built on Meta SAM 3 and VitMatte. It generates cinematic quality alpha channels via text, points, bounding box, or trimap input. One thing I found really interesting about ONYX is it doesn't rely on a single AI model. Instead, it uses three specialized models working together. First is SAM3 from Meta. Its job is simple: identify and track the object across the shot. Think of it as a smart garbage mat. Next, ONYX automatically generates a trimap, splitting the image into foreground and background and an unknown edge region. This tells exactly next AI exactly where needs to focus. Finally, the edge is refined using either VIT-matte or MEMatte. VIT-matte is much better for softer details like hair, fur, while MEMatte will lighter and sometimes produce harder edges. Now, here's the important part. SAM3 remembers object between frames, but the edge refinement models don't. They process each frame independently. That's why AI mattes can become flicker or boil. To solve this, ONYX add edge stabilization, which blends refined edges over time to produce much more stable. That's why it separates apart from the other AI tools. It's a complete production pipeline combined with object segmentation, AI matting, temporal stabilization into one workflow. I actually appreciate companies explaining limitations of pretending everything is perfect. Right now, not every AI demo online looks magical. Nobody talks about temporal consistency. In production, temporal consistency is everything. I would rather use a slightly softer matte that is stable than a perfect edge that has flickers in every frame. Sometimes boring is exactly what production needs. Emmy nominations are out. Apple TV had an incredible strong year. Foundation, Monarchy, Legacy of Monsters, Prehistoric Planet, three major nominations. FX and Hulu also had a small, strong representation. Netflix surprisingly only landed one nomination in this VFX category with Stranger Things. Looking at the vendors, it usually heavy hitters who work in major blockbuster films. One thing I noticed is streaming has completely changed the VFX landscape. 10 years ago, everyone talks about blockbuster movies. Today, some of the highest quality visual effects are happening in episodic television. Honestly, TV shows now have more consistent VFX quality than VFX films, feature films, because artists have longer character continuity, more time to refine assets across multiple episodes. That's a pretty interesting shift for the industry. And next is SIGGRAPH has released its real-time live trailer. If you never watched a real-time live trailer before, you should. This isn't another pre-recorded keynote. Everything happens in live. No edited videos, no fake demos, no second text. It's basically where researchers prove that technology actually works. This year, production focus on virtual production, machine learning, immersive storytelling, and generative art. And SIGGRAPH is one of the few places where real innovation happens. Every week, social media says AI video changed everything. SIGGRAPH is where people showed the engineering behind those claims. The difference between research and marketing is enormous. Here is one of the most interesting AI projects this week. Someone released a LoRA for Flex that lets you change the direction of the sunlight in an image. Instead of typing prompt endlessly, you provide a reference pair that showing where you want to the sun direction is. The AI matched that exact lighting direction. Even better, they created a spear render node specifically for ComfyUI. This generation runs in two passes, 4 steps each, and CFG1. Pass 1 overcast. The model strips the existing lighting condition from your photo and turns into evenly lit, shadow-free version. The LoRa works best on flat lighting, so this step exists to erase whatever the light direction the original photo already had. The sun direction cache is pass per photo. The tool skips straight two passes and every sun adjustment after first run. And the pass 2 is sun. This model takes the overcast photo plus a small rendered reference pair lit from the direction you picked and match the sun to your photo to that reference. The rendered ball is a browser side 3.js recreation where the Venti used to train LoRa. So what you see in the browser is close to what LoRa was trained to read. To keep the seed locked and move the sun in small steps, building a lighting time lapse. There's a flicker happening, but also there are few cloud changes also happening. Keeping it down the seed locked minimize the flickers. This is actually smarter than it sounds. Lighting direction has always one of the hardest thing to control with the diffusion models. Prompting sun from left rarely gives consistent results. Given the AI and actual lighting reference is much more technical solution. This feels less like AI guessing, more like AI follows instructions. I hope we see more workflows in moving in this direction. Beeble launches SwitchHDR. It's an AI model converts SDR footage into scene linear 16-bit EXR sequence. Notice I didn't say it magically recovers HDR because that's impossible. Once the highlight are clipped, the original information has been gone. What a Beeble is doing, predicting the missing dynamic range, probably using AI trained on real HDR footage. Beeble has been in the hype for last few months, and one thing I noticed is the biggest weakness of the switch light isn't the AI itself, it's the data it was trained on. Most of their research focus on human portrait lighting. Their dataset was built on light stage that captures hundreds of people carefully controlled lighting. That means model become incredibly good at understanding face, skin and portrait lighting. But portraits are one of the easiest domain in computer vision. Human face have predictable anatomy, consistent material, and familiar lighting patterns. The AI can learn those relationships very effectively. The real challenge begins where you move into actual VFX shots. Think about explosion, creatures, smoke, glass, metallic surface, motion blur, or complex environments. Those scenes involve multiple materials, indirect lighting, transparency, and far more complicated lighting interaction. This is why many AI relating demos look amazing on close up faces but struggle in production level shots. Don't get me wrong, I think switch light is one of the most impressive AI research in today, but portrait lighting success doesn't automatically means production AI ready compositing. There is still a huge gap between understanding how light behaves on a human face and understanding how light behaves in an entire cinematic scene. Sony Picture Imageworks released an excellent breakdown on showing how they created Silver Surfer. Julia Garner's performance was captured using motion capture and then head mounted cameras. Then the data was transferred to digital rigs. Artists performed short sculpting to preserve her likeness, and the muscle stimulation handled body deformations. Rendering requires special techniques to stop the reflective metal surface from become visually distracting. These breakdowns are incredibly valuable because they remind everyone that great VFX isn't one AI button. It involves dozens of departments solving hundreds of tiny problems. Every time someone says AI will replace artists, just show them one of these kind of breakdowns. The complexity behind these shots is staggering. The Visual Effects Society announced its honorees. Susan Zwerman receives Founders Award, Jeff Gleisner receives lifetime membership, Sir William Surgeon and Scott Scottish become honorary members, and industry legends institute including John Landau, Gary Anderson, and Ishiro Honda, Tom Hunaki enters Visual Effects Hall of Fame. I think it's important we celebrate pioneers while still around. The industry moves so fast that we often focus only on next AI model or next blockbusters. But everything we use today because industry spent decades of building the industry. Recognition matters and history matters. And lastly, I came across Corridor Crew video and their end result. It's funny that their quality of work and they criticize and review other people VFX work. It's crazy that they had the audacity to release this after making their career on nitpicking the visual effects of movies which was created by hundreds or thousands of VFX artists tirelessly from day to night, and they portray it as a successful outcome also. These kind of AI based tools are perfect for Corridor Crew. They were already churning out absolute low quality slop videos. Now they can do it much faster and cheaper. If you want any videos to discuss, please post it in the comments. Subscribe for Topic Room VFX. Thank you for watching.